So fake.
Whose last name is
Honestly, she thinks that she's
Oh
like a
my
great
God,
actress,
I
but
know.
she's not.
She thinks she's like Katy Perry.
I know.
always talking about how
She's
pretty she is.
And she's always like, I'm so talented. Like, I'm
Alright kids, sit down. We got a lot to do today.
What to do today?
What in tarnation? I don't want to dissect a dead rabbit.
Let's name him Chance the Hopper.
I don't want to name a dead rabbit. I don't want to see a dead rabbit. I don't want to dissect a dead rabbit.
Guys, why are we even naming a dead rabbit?
Why not, Tanner?
Classic Jocelyn.
But you know who'd be worse than dissecting a rabbit?
Don't.
Dissecting your cadaver.
I can't. My dad's a cab driver.
Shut up, Jocelyn.
Not a cab driver. A cadaver.
What's that?
It's basically a dead body.
Actually, you're wrong.
Fork off, Tanner.
A corpse is just like a dead body.
And a cadaver is.
It's used for things like dissection and research. Corpses aren't used for that.
How do you even become a cadaver?
You donate it. Duh.
Why would anyone ever want to do that? That's disgusting.
Yeah, I'd rather just have my body cremated.
I think I'm going to get buried like my family.
I've always thought about having mine donated.
Why? Why would you want your body being violated like that?
Your body isn't necessarily being violated. Donating is really good for things like advancing science and research and training doctors and surgeons and finding cures for diseases and helping other people get transplants. And it always is way less expensive than being buried.
You also get money for it.
Jocelyn, you're dead. How are you supposed to get money?
Okay, but like, what if?
No.
Okay, I just fake my death, and then I get a bunch of money, spend that on fidget spinners. I give everyone fidget spinners.
Classic Jocelyn.
Let's just go to the nurse and find out more.
Hi there, my name is Luke Jackson. I'm the Director of Psychiatry at USC Verdugo Hills Hospital. I'm a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for 25 years and worked in hospitals all that time.
Cool. Do you think donating your body to science is a good idea once you pass?
Yeah, I do. I think that if you have healthy organs and tissues, you can help a lot of people by donating your organs and tissues. Somebody that maybe was in a car accident and is going to die can help up to 42 people with, I know it's pretty amazing, with eyes, kidneys, heart. The liver can help 3 people. It can be dissected into 3 different sections and help 3 people. Skin, corneas are often given to people who can't see. Other, heart valves are given. There's up to 42 people that can be helped with one person who's going to pass or has passed. So yes, I'm a big fan of that. And as far as research, that's another big issue. There are, where I work at USC Hospital, there's a big brain research program that goes on, and they do research into Alzheimer's disease and other diseases of the brain that affect people more often late in life, and they they study what healthy brains look like and what diseased brains look like and what the transition period is, so they can kind of figure out how to intervene and how to develop treatment to help people from, and prevent them from getting brain diseases.
Okay. When you were in college and nursing school, did you ever use a cadaver?
Oh yeah. So we learned anatomy and physiology on cadavers. Mm-hmm. So we had fairly fresh cadavers come to our lab, and we would dissect them. We learned to tease out nerves. We learned to dissect vessels. We learned to dissect organs, pull them out, so we could look at them and understand how they work, how they're set up, the anatomy of them. So physiology lab in nursing school is 4 months of working on a cadaver twice a week.
Do you think that helped you learn a lot more than it would like learning on a computer or just being lectured about it?
Immensely. So everybody, if there's 50 of us in the lab, we would have typically 25 bodies we work on in pairs, but we would rotate. So we do one organ and one section for like a week or something, then we would move to another one. So we could see the different ones, and we could see the differences of how people develop, and no 2 bodies are really completely identical. They may be all laid out the same, and their physiology may be the same, but their anatomy changes. And understanding the different anatomies and how somebody's heart, maybe, my heart might be right here in terms of the apex, right here, but somebody else might be over there. And so there are differences. And that was very useful.
Managing funeral director here at Reardon Funeral Home. I've worked here for 14 years, my entire career in the funeral industry. What are the options for body disposition after death? Well, there's a couple. You can be cremated, you could be buried, and you can also donate your body to science. So those are really like the main things. You're either going to be buried or cremated, because even if you donate your body, eventually after schooling's done with your body, you'll be cremated after that. So really, there's nothing else. They're talking about a new form that's like an alkaline process that the body will go into a chamber, and it almost gets reduced to like a gel, and that's flushed, I guess. But I don't see that taking off anytime soon. There's also a couple companies they can turn your cremains into a diamond, which it's very expensive. It's like $10,000. So we don't have a lot of people that do that. I don't know. That's like a very like a boutique thing to do. So pretty much burial or cremation. Do you happen to know how the body donation process works? Rules or cost? Most body donations, there's no charge for that because you are giving them your body. That's the payment right there to them. They're not going to charge a family anything for that. Most of the process is as simple as we call, there's a couple different companies. We say we have a family here that wants to donate their body to science. They'll send over a packet to the family. They'll fill out basically, release of liability, things like that, and they will come and they'll take the deceased to their facility. What happens after that, I would imagine the family has to tell them because like when I took anatomy at Moore Park, we had 2 cadavers there. They were full-size 2 adult males. They were in formaldehyde. I think they had been there about 2 years, so they were pretty used. I mean, probably thousands of students had gone there. They had their vessels raised. But when you donate your body, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's going to happen. They may remove your eyes to go to USC, I want to say eyeball college, but I'm sure it's probably a little more formal than that. Or they may take bones, they may take multiple parts, so it all just depends. They're pretty much in control with what they want to do once you release. So
they don't get a say in what they go to?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure the families can sign and say, full, do whatever you want. Or they may say, just take this portion. But really, if you're donating your entire body, you're assuming do what you want. So, and usually that's a period of about 2 years where, obviously, a leg can only be opened so many times to show vessels for medical students or dentistry. I've seen USC Dental School has skulls that they have. That's how they learn. I mean, you really can't learn that stuff on a computer or a simulator. You have to really use the actual human body. So, but after a period of time, they're brought and usually cremated. There'll be a small service that the students will have, and they'll release those remains back to the family at that time, or possibly a scatter at sea if the family chose that. Have you considered donating your body to science? Yes. Have you guys heard of plastination? No. There's a doctor. He's a German, Gunther von Hagen. About 10 years ago, he travels the world and he embalms people in various stages of. He'll remove all the skin, and it's basically so people can come and see all the vessels of the body, which I think there's like 60,000 miles of blood vessels in your body right now. So, I mean, imagine that. That's going around the earth 2.5 times, He has everything from infants to elderly people. Some of them are in poses like playing tennis. I mean, it's actually really interesting. And at the end of that tour, he had where you could donate your body, and I filled out the form. So I was unmarried at the time, so I don't know if like when I die he'll come to get me, and but I filled out the paperwork for them to do that to me because I thought it was really cool, so I have thought of it. Now I'm like, I don't know, some days I think about when I die what's going to happen to me. Do I want to be buried? Do I want to be cremated? Do I want to end up on display traveling museums? I mean, that'd be kind of cool, but so yes, I have thought of donating before. I'm an organ donor. I don't know if you guys are driving and they give you the little option to put that. I mean, I figure if you could take something from me to help someone, go for it.
Was the paperwork just your information, like to be contacted?
Yeah, it was that and like my address, and I don't remember a lot. I mean, I don't know if I'm still in their registry or not, and how would they know if I died even? But yeah, I filled it out and I was like, go for it, But I was like 25 at the time, so I was like, I didn't have a family or anything. I was like, do whatever, So
You can be made into bullets.
You could be turned into a diamond.
You could be a fireworks display.
You can be in a science exhibit via plastination.
You could be turned into a pencil.
You could be turned into a vinyl. You could be planted into a tree.
People would loot the graves and torture corpses to give to medical schools so they can teach the new generation of surgeons. The people that were using the bodies would often pay the body snatchers. In fact, the first known case of body snatching was committed by 4 medical students in Bologna in 1319. In the 17th and 18th centuries, body snatching reached epic proportions around the world. There was a reduction in executions, the traditional source of cadavers. There was also simultaneously a proliferation of medical schools and the study of anatomy. Poor refrigeration methods meant a deficit of fresh bodies for medical study. Furthermore, the punishment was minimal. The convicted were given a fine or imprisoned. The practice was condoned by many medical practitioners and institutions who believed it was a necessary evil, while now would offset by the benefits anatomical study of the bodies would produce. The increasing demand for fresh cadavers gave rise to resurrectionists, men who dug up and delivered bodies. Resurrectionists would work in teams, mainly targeting new graves because it was easier to dig up the unsettled earth. They would send spies to funerals, usually women, to scout the grave and plan for the removal of the body. Particular targets for resurrectionists were the mass graves the poor were often buried in. These graves were left uncovered until they were full of coffins. Single graves were far more troublesome to break into. A tunnel would have to be dug, sometimes 4 feet down, the coffin broken into and the body carried to the surface. It became more common, especially in Europe, for the relatives of the deceased to watch over the graves, and many means of protection were developed, such as iron coffins, grave alarms, and more famously, the iron bar structure built around a coffin known as a mort safe. To try and contain the escalating situation, the 1832 Autonomy Act was passed in the United Kingdom, making body snatching a criminal offense too. However, body snatching continued to occur throughout the late 19th century. In 1875, the bodies of typhoid affected students at a Canadian convent school were stolen before relatives could arrive to claim them. The dark practice continues to haunt the dead today. In 2006, 4 men were charged with body stealing. They had been selling body parts and obtained without consent from corpse and morgues and funeral homes in New York City. The body parts were sold for transplant and medical study. Although there are many modern laws designed to prevent body snatching, it continues to be a lucrative underground business.
Have you thought about what you want to do with your body after you die?
Yes. I've thought a lot about this, oddly, especially in the more recent years. I either want to be cremated and then have my ashes spread at sea, or I just want to be... They have this thing where you can be buried and then your ashes are sorted out, so you are now like this tree tablet and you grow into a tree. So.
I think I want to put myself in a coffin and have my family shoot me off into the sun.
Yeah, I want to donate my organs as soon as I die. Actually, no, I have not. I will most likely donate it.
Maybe follow the release guidelines I have set, maybe. Because for mine, they burn the body and spread the ashes on the ocean.
Have you ever thought about maybe donating it?
I have thought about that. I have not looked into that much though, so I have not really considered it yet.
I mean, if my release guidelines weren't that strict, I would.
Do you know what happens to your body when you donate it?
Yeah, they use your organs if they're good.
They use it for like medical research. It just depends on what your body is needed for.
If you do donate your body to science, you don't necessarily get to choose where or what happens to it. What is your opinion on this?
I think it's fine. I mean, again, I'm dead, so I don't really get to voice my opinion on it. But donating your body to science just means, okay, do whatever you want with it now. So they can do whatever they want with it now.
For our documentary, we created a survey to collect data on students' opinions regarding cadavers and donating. Within 2 weeks, we got 67 responses. And here are the results. Have you thought about what you will do with your body when you die? We got about 80% saying yes, they do know, and only like 20 saying no. What do you want to do with your body when you die? It's about split into thirds, with third saying cremation and burial, and third saying other. When asked what other option they would do after death, here were some of the responses. I would turn my ashes into a diamond, and I want to be burned and incorporated into my favorite vinyl. Have you thought about donating it? Okay, it's split about halfway. Yes and no. Do you know what happens to your body when you donate it? It's about half, a little more say yes, they do know, and 43% say no. When asked to elaborate more on whether or not they donate their body after knowing what can actually happen, here were some of the responses. I think my loved ones should have my remains. I will not want my body to be seen as an object or experiment. Okay. Some examples of what can happen when you donate include test dummies for car companies, anatomy classes, surgical practices, military testing, and etc. Do you still want to donate after knowing this? And compared to before, more people said no because they don't want to be used for some of these things, I guess. Yeah, after being told that one doesn't necessarily get to choose where their body goes. Here are some of the opinions on that topic. I'd be dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. And that's okay, as long as it is used for a helpful purpose. Thank you.
Step 1. Deciding to donate your body to science. Make sure you understand what happens when you donate your body to science. Step 2. Discuss your decision. Inform your doctor and family members. Discuss funeral or memorial options. Make alternative arrangements. Step 3. Fill out the correct paperwork. When you die, you're ready to go.